Hello guys, today we are going to make Clams Oreganata. Earlier we made the chocolate lava cakes, and now I'm just going to show you how to shuck the clams. What we have here is we got 12 manila clams, unshucken, but now I'm just going to shuck them. It's probably easier just to get them pre-shucked. Alright, so I have an oven mitt to protect my hand from the knife, the butter knife. And it's right there, like this is the clam. You want to stab it in that black area right there, and I'm just going to stab it right now, and you want to put the knife in and just move it from side to side with strength, and then you'll pierce through like that. And then you just want to make sure it's all pierced through, and then you just want to take the one with the meat in it, because usually one will have the meat and one will not. And it's just a half shell. You're only using one part of the shell. I'm just gonna shuck one more just for the purpose of you guys. Right there in that little black part, which I like to call the bum, or their butt. Right there, if you guys see. And what you want to do is you just want to take it there, start stabbing, and there we go. And we have our clam shucked. And alright, so we'll be right back to you cutting up some parsley, oregano, and mint. Okay guys, we are just getting ready to cut up some greens to put into our clams. But first we have to wash our hands because we just touched some raw meat. So I'm just going to wash my hands real quick. Remember,
you want to use soap and water to make sure you have no germs. You don't want to get sick from this. I already previously washed them, so it's okay.
So what we're going to need is 1 tablespoon of mint, of chopped fresh mint, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh parsley, and 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh oregano.
So let's get out some measuring cups. Alrighty, so here's 1 tablespoon.
I'll chop the mint and the oregano. You want to chop the parsley? Or you know what, you want to chop the mint also? Yeah, you can chop the mint if you want to. Okay. Yeah, just a tablespoon, so just a smidge. You want to get the leaves. And you want to put a little bit more of oregano because this full dish is based on it.
That's why it's keely named Clams Oreganata.
Alright, so we will be right back to you when these leaves are all chopped up.
Okay, so we're back and we have our finely chopped greens and we're ready to add in some breadcrumbs. Now, you're going to want to add in half a cup of breadcrumbs. We have panko breadcrumbs because they're super fine, and we want everything to be really, really fine because this is what's going to be in the clams. So, open this up. And we only have a 1/4 cup measuring, so we just add in 2 of these. Easy math. And what we're going to want to do is we can mix it up. So, now that you have this little concoction and your clams are ready, you can take it over the stove and we'll teach you what to do for the next step. Okay, so we're back and we have our finely chopped greens and we're ready to add in some breadcrumbs. Now, you're going to want to add in half a cup of breadcrumbs. We have panko breadcrumbs because they're super fine, and we want everything to be really, really fine because this is what's going to be in the clams. So, open this up. And we only have a 1/4 cup measuring, so we just add in 2 of these. Easy math. And what we're going to want to do is we can mix it up. So, now that you have this little concoction and your clams are ready, you can take it over the stove and we'll teach you what to do for the next step. Okay, so we're back and we have our herbs nicely chopped up. We want everything to be super fine because that way it goes into the clams and it sits there really nicely. So we have panko breadcrumbs, which we used. We used half a cup in with the herbs, so that way everything is just super fine. Like, look at this, it's like a powder. It actually is. And so now that we have this ready and we have our clams ready, what we're going to want to do is to the herb and breadcrumb pile, we're going to add a little bit of salt, some pepper, and olive oil. You want to use, again, same with the breadcrumbs, you're going to want to use about half a cup. This is extra virgin olive oil, so that's what the recipe calls for. And now that you have that concoction all mixed up, we're going to take both of these bowls over to the oven where we will prepare them to be cooked. See you guys then.
Okay guys, we have our clams and a nice little baking sheet. And now we're ready to spoon in our mix right into each of them. Just want to pat it down once you get it. And remember, we're going to bake this at around 350 broil. You're going to broil them for a couple minutes. 2 to 3, I think. And then just put it there. Top it. And then once we're done doing this, we're just going to sprinkle it with a little olive oil. Alright. Yep, I love this. Whenever I go to an Italian restaurant, this is the first appetizer I'll get. And really, those appetizers at a good Italian restaurant can be like $8-9. You can get a dozen of these clams, same type of clams, $4 for a dozen, and you get 6 of them in an entree for like $10. So you're really getting double what you get in a restaurant appetizer for half the money. Alright, so I'm nearly done putting in our mixture. As you can see, we may have made a little much of the mixture, but these are little small clams. So once you get them in here, you just want to take a little bit of olive oil. Let me just wash my hands real quick. And then you just want to take a little bit of olive oil. For this case, since it's a little big, I'm just going to put a tiny bit in my hand. Just a sprinkle. Just as you sprinkle it on. Sprinkle it on every little thing. And then you can get it on. There we go. And then once you sprinkled it on, you're just going to put it onto baking for 2 to 3 minutes on broil.
Okay, so we're back, and as you can see, this is a new tray. We had a little bit of olive oil incident, and we just wanted to make sure there wasn't too much on it, or else there could be some oven difficulties. So we're going to take it over, now that our oven is preheated to 350 on broil. We can add those guys in.
We're going to keep them in there for 2 to 3 minutes.
Until the breadcrumbs start to look golden brown, and we'll show you guys the end result after they're nicely cooked. Okay, so we're back and we have our clams nicely cooked. As you can see, the breadcrumbs have started to brown very nicely. So we're ready to dig in. Isn't that right?
We have our nice appetizer fancy forks, and we are ready. What you want to do is you just want to take the whole thing, eat all of that good food.
Hot, hot, hot. Does it cook well? Oh, have a little bit of trouble.
And we broiled it for around 3 or 4 minutes, and they turned out great. Want to eat all that scrumptious sauce. Wow, that was good.
A little bit of shell.
Tiny bit of shell, but if you just shuck this, if you just get them pre-shucked, it takes it right out of the equation, but this filling is still unbelievable. this concludes this episode on Clams Oreganata. We'll be back soon. And now remember, subscribe and give thumbs up if you like what you see. And remember, food that is good.